Very good, claimant. Once more, I name myself Gur-Fulur, High Luminary to my people, and chosen Elector of the Dawn Servant.
You are much bigger than the others in the village.
All Yokui were once my equal in size, but ever since we were decimated by disease, it is rare to see a child reach our former stature.
You speak of the contagion which afflicted the Shaktural expedition, the one recorded in your murals.
It is a chapter of our history that is entangled with the legend of the Golden City.
I've heard that legend originated with the Yokui. Is this true?
With the visions our ancestors had, to be precise. Preceding the campaign into Shaktural, many were visited by dreams of glittering splendor. They described a paradise that knew neither war nor famine, where people lived lives of eternal happiness. A single dreamer might have been dismissed, but when dozens, if not hundreds, spoke the same, the luminaries became convinced it was divine revelation.
Then the expedition.
Its purpose was to find the City of Gold. Yes, help was marshaled from all the territories under our control. Lands were scoured on a massive scale.
Ah, little wonder the legend is so similar across Tural. Those involved with the search would have passed the stories down to their children.
Another claimant, I see. I will test your worth, as I have tested those who came before you.
Potion.
Here and now, I think he means.
Well, let us get out of the way.
Well fought, second promise. For you and your sister's success in performing the feat of proof. You both shall be rewarded.
Three to go.
How glorious it would have been to race thee and thine to the summit. Though mayhap not whilst being hounded by Bakul Jaja and his minions.
Again, that swine shows his disdain for the right.
Strangely, despite his eagerness to antagonize us, he withdrew as soon as we fought back in earnest. I cannot fathom what he was trying to achieve. On a similar note, I'm also curious as to why you chose the peak of Warkor Zormor for the conclusion of this feat. The earlier stages saw us learn the history of the Yokui. Does this location also hold some special meaning for your people?
Yes. It is a place of great significance.
All these monuments. Is this a burial ground?
Every high luminary before me is enshrined in this earth. Alongside them are the heroes who bravely stood their ground when Valigarmanda brought ruin to Urkopacha 8 decades past.
That explains why there are so many.
Zorolja, I should have known you'd arrive here first.
Third promise. How relieved I am to find you in good health.
Zorolja, you bastard! I should end you here and now!
Remember where you are. You will mind your conduct, or you will leave.
Right. Sorry.
I see no reason to delay further. Show me my father's sepulchre.
Papa has a grave?
Upon this monument are inscribed the names of those who sealed away the monstrous Valigarmanda, your fathers included.
Gulul Jaja, Master of Resolve and Reason, Champion of Peace.
Look at this one. Kettenram, Navigator of Uncharted Oceans.
Kettenrun? The Laminsan explorer? Does this mean he joined Galul Jaja on his travels?
Kafkiwa, Seeker of the Unknown. How strange to see your name here.
It was unheard of to build living sepulchres for those who were not Yokui. But their great deed demanded recognition.
Master of Resolve and Reason, Champion of Peace? Papa really did some amazing things.
He carved his path with martial skill.
Yet it was clever thinking which allowed him to trap Valigarmanda within its own ice magics.
Martial skill and clever thinking. I can't compete with Zorolja's mastery of the Head of Resolve's techniques. And when it comes to knowledge, Kona's the one who most takes after the Head of Reason. Is there anything that I've gotten from Papa? Something I do better than the others?
Champion of Peace? What else defines your father aside from strength and knowledge?
What else defines him? Oh, of course. Papa's love for peace, for his people. That is what he's given me. And I'm fighting to preserve the peaceful Tural he built. the hells was that?
You must return to Warlar's Echo immediately. Valigarmanda has broken free.
I presume that was about the unholy sound?
Valigarmanda has broken free, Alphinaud said.
Valigarmanda is free.
We need to get back there, now!
How fortuitous. We have been gifted an opportunity to outpace our rivals.
Well, now I lost a bit of recording, about a minute, not much. I just talked to Alphinaud. And he told us he came back after he felt a sudden surge of aether and giants are everywhere and we should help. So let's have a wounded. If you are ready, when there are many injured here who need aid, should you find anyone passed out from their wounds, I ask that you alert me at once. Otherwise I shall be tending to whoever requires the most urgent healing. We can gather here once we've seen to these people's hurts. Alright, hurt people. Alice, you got this one? You'll be fine. Just try to avoid sudden movements so you don't reopen your wounds.
My wounds are nothing serious, but this dryness in my throat is if all the moisture has left my body.
Once we've treated the wounded, I have everyone meet at the spot where we were talking earlier.
Everything burns. The touch of cloth is agony. Yet I will live. Leave me where others in more dire need of help.
While Valigarmanda's escape is of dire concern, we must needs tend to those caught in the conflagration. Thank you. Many of the villages sustained burns, but the fire found no purchase in these stone buildings. Small mercy. Oyanji says fire ever pervades the entire village. What happened here? Valigarmanda burst out of his ice prison and yeah, fire damage, right? Makes sense, I think.
You, the third promise's protector. Everything was bathed in bright red. A searing heat enveloped my entire body. Couldn't move.
Right. But it seems no one is at death's door or anything. I've done all I can for now. The injured you found were awake and alert then? Yes, all of them. That as well. We've left the injured as comfortable as we could. Many were suffering from burns to greater or lesser degree. Did fire sweep for here? The details are unclear. Once I healed the giant attacked by that mountain bird, the group leader, Vopolo, I believe they called him, bade me depart. It was then that I felt an intense wave of aether and returned to find Warlar's Echo in this state. I rushed over to the first giant I saw. Though delirious with pain, he repeated the same warning. Valigarmanda's broken free. Thus did I contact you with all haste. Well, we're going to need more information on that before we can deal with the situation. Yes, we should speak with a temple guard and see what's become of the Skyruin's prison. Whatever answers exist await us inside the temple. I would be glad to learn that this was all some misunderstanding. A futile hope by the looks of things. They did say the prison was beginning to fail, but I felt certain it would hold for another few years at least. Was I mistaken? Was someone helped? The High Luminary will have returned by now. Hopefully found more out than we have. We need to find out exactly what's going on.
The High Luminary grants you entry and awaits you within.
What happened?
So it's true. The ice has failed.
Surmurwar, tell them what you told me.
A short while ago, a claimant paid us a visit.
Echo.
Who enters this hallowed hall? Ah, a claimant.
Oh, and here we have the mighty Valigarmanda.
A terrifying Vitral. With every awakening, it has seared its ruinous name into the memories of a new generation.
What a good little terror. You've stayed napping right up until the day I needed you.
Explain yourself.
It is as they say. Gulul Jaja caused its magic to run rampant, trapping it in a frozen prison of its own creation. Clever. Clever. To unmake it, it would be quite tricky. 2 spells must be cast at the exact same moment. A conflagration intense enough to melt the ice, and awakening flame to rekindle the slumbering Vitral's soul. The only ones capable of such harmonious execution would be the heads of reason and resolve. And the blessed siblings, Bakul Jaja.
You mustn't!
But I already have. Rise and rage, little terror. might have overdone the fire a bit.
Utter madness. Why have you done this?
For the throne, of course.
You unleash calamity for your own gain? Have you any idea how many may die?
Wreak havoc, Valigarmanda. Live up to your legend.
A messenger to Thule Yolol has been dispatched. The Landsguard will send a contingent, I am sure. But there is no telling when they will arrive.
Idiot! This monstrous act is a step too far, even for him!
So, what's the plan?
If we leave the withdrawal to others, it will be a massacre. Some might call it the wiser choice, if I don't want to fall behind the competition. But I could never live with myself. And my supporters deserve a better ruler. So that's that. I will stay and fight Valigarmanda. This is an enemy so powerful that even my father failed to slay it. Alone, I don't stand a chance. I understand you've no obligation to aid me outside the right of succession. But for the sake of Urkopacha and its people, I beg you, join me in this battle.
This is the kind of challenge I live for.
Drawn to the chaos. You're as bad as Papa. Don't worry. The Skyruin should prove a big enough challenge for all of us.
Far be it from us to abandon a dear comrade in her time of need.
Dear comrades now, eh? I have to say, it does have a comforting ring to it. Knowing someone has your back makes it easier to do what you have to do.
Exactly.
And what will we do?
One committed to winning the contest above all else would race on ahead.
If you resolve to slay Valigarmanda, we'll need to find out where the beast went.
That's what we have you for, old friend.
Inform the Pelu of the danger. They may need to flee to lower ground.
When I said I would take on the duty of a guide, but did not include the tracking of ancient and terrible Tural Vidral, Still, we can't leave Valigarmanda free to ravage the land. Should a claimant reckless enough to free the Skyruin become Dawn Servant, what would become of Tuliolal? That fiend Bakul Jaja, he's rotten through and through. There's nothing blessed about him. Two casters releasing spells of fire at this exact same moment. A feat impossible for any but a two-headed Mamulja. So Erenville, any idea on how we can track Valigarmanda? The tried and true method of comparing sightings with other signs of passage is the most reliable, but also the most time-consuming. There is a second option, not as reliable as the first, but if we're lucky it will let us ascertain the Skyruin's whereabouts far more quickly. Though a Tural Vidral of extraordinary nature, Valigarmanda is still a creature of his world. Like you and me, is thus sustained by corporeal energy and possesses a unique ethereal balance, which means this device should come in handy. It is the pointer minion. A floating ant? Now's not the time to be playing with toys. This is no toy, it's an Aether Seeker. As the name suggests, Gleaners use it to detect the aether of living beings. And you've had that in your pack this whole time? I can calibrate it to follow a specific ethereal aspect. The problem with Valigarmanda, however, is that it can shift freely between the elements of fire, ice or lightning. Well, we know that in order to awaken Valigarmanda from its icy imprisonment, Bakul Jaja casts spells which quicken its fire-aspected aether. And the residents here were uniformly afflicted by burns. Therefore, the logical conclusion is that upon breaking free, Valigarmanda unleashed a great fiery blast. Then the choice is plain. Fire. The Seeker, however, is not without its faults. As we were not able to input our quarry's unique etheric signature in advance, the device will respond to any living source of fire-aspected aether. So we have the reliable yet slow method of information gathering versus the potentially swift but easily misled Gleaner tool. I say, why not pursue both methods at the same time? Good idea. We'll have a first to fall back on if a second fails. You travel with me then, Desiree, in case the Seeker leads me to some other fiery fiend. I'm your woman. The rest of us can stay behind and talk to eyewitnesses. The more Skyruin sightings we can compare, the more accurate our information will be. If no one has any objections, I shall remain here in the village and tend to the Yokui. Very few are seriously injured, but I'm wary of wounds inflicted by a creature like Valigarmanda. I should like to be close at hand should their conditions suddenly worsen. Right, it sounds like we all have work to do. We should be on our way as well. Right. We head to the outskirts of the village first, then set the Seeker to detect fire-aspected aether.
Sensor set to detect ethereal aspect. Fire.
Right, the Seeker is ready to go. Warlord's Echo is still suffused with the Skyruin's residual aether, so I've excluded it from the search area to prevent it from swamping the sensors. Let's begin tracking, shall we? Once you choose to depart, Erenville will accompany you. The Aether Seeker will then begin leading you. Follow it, and if you leave Erenville for any seconds, return here.
Affirmative. Tracking nearest source of fire expected EFM.
If this was an actual player, we could just give a follow command and basically I could go AFK and automatically run after it. Unfortunately, it's not, so I have to actually walk behind it. To the fire sprite?
Source of fire expected Eva located. Tracking disengaged.
Not quite the legendary creature we were after. Would you mind dealing with that fire sprite? It will continue to confuse the Seeker if we leave it be. Punch for fire! Unnecessary measure, I'm afraid. Let's try this again.
Tracking nearest source of fire expected Eva.
That lava thing.
Source of fire expected Eva detected. Disengage tracking.
Frightening enough, but again, not what we were looking for. If you'd be so kind. No thanks. I'd ask if it gave you any trouble, but considering who I'm talking to... Seeker, resume tracking. And do try to point out something useful this time.
Affirmative. Resuming tracking. Source of fire expected Eva located. Tracking disengaged.
Another remnant of Valigarmanda's last rampage. The crater's flames registered to the Seeker as corporeal ether. In the words of the Tuliyola saga, when Valigarmanda rages out of control, its fire burns forever. Its ice does not fall and its lightning crackles without cease. Thus was the Dawn Servant able to turn the Skyruin's perpetual magic against itself, trapping it within an unmelting prison of ice. This is no mundane fire, but some kind of everlasting sorcery. Once again, it is a strange feeling to see fanciful poetry proven true. The important thing is that the fire was classified as living aether. We can feed a sample into the Seeker and greatly improve its accuracy. One moment.
Sample analyzed. Recalibrating sensors.
There. Now the Seeker should ignore any etheric signature but Valigarmanda's. I realized this was possible from the start when you needn't have fought those creatures at all. My apologies, it seems I still have much to learn from this journey, as a cleaner and as a guide. The Skyruin. This time the Seeker should be attracted solely to Valigarmanda's aether. Resume tracking based on the latest sample.
Affirmative. Resuming tracking. Sample ethereal signature detected. Engaging accelerated pursuit mode.
The next fire-aspected thing? Good, the Seeker was drawn directly to the Skyruin's fire. Now we know we've set the correct parameters for its ethereal aspect. I try increasing the threshold for etheric concentration. That should direct us to the Tural Vidral itself.
Recalibrating sensors. Resuming tracking.
Okay, these are the tunnels with mules again. I think we'd noticed if Valigarmanda was inside this passage. Let's head through to the other side. One would think so if he was here. It's everywhere or nowhere?
The trail ends here, it seems. Could Valigarmanda have shifted its elemental aspect? It does have 3 to choose from, after all. In any case, I'm almost certain the Vidral was headed in the direction of Warkor Lardor. We should let the others know we have a likely location.
Alphino is assisting the Yokhoi with their evacuation. He thought they could use a healing hand with the injured.
So where is Valigarmanda?
Warkor Lardor. Its stratified layers contain a wealth of crystals, said to be the source of its many-colored glow. After 80 years of imprisonment, the Vidral will be in dire need of sustenance. It would have been drawn to the mountain's energies.
So Valigarmanda seeks to replenish its ether.
Then we'd better not give it the chance.
Stop!
That mountain is sacred ground. I forbid you to set foot on it.
Sorry, It is not our intention to trespass. But you must understand, that's where Valigarmanda has gone. If we don't slay it now, it will slaughter countless innocents. Just like in the old days, I beg you, permit us to enter.
Out of the question. Your band is incapable of defeating Valigarmanda. Either you seek to defile Warcore Lara Door, or you are fools.
If you doubt their chances, how would you feel were we to join them? The monument to Valigarmanda's defeat bears the names of 7 heroes.
7 weaklings are no less doomed than 4.
The monument to Valigarmanda's defeat bears the names of 7 heroes. With our forces combined, we also number 7. Was what Connor said.
Zoralcha, you've come to help as well.
Against my sound advice. While the rest of you were tussling with the Skyruin, we might have secured an insurmountable lead. A minor delay. It will not change the contest's outcome. I would take the measure of this Tural withdrawal my father was unable to kill.
With both my brothers here, this battle is all but won.
Your celebration is premature. I never said I would let you pass.
Brother, no! We do not bear arms against our own people!
What an odd thing to say. As I recall, the inhabitants of Chirwagur Sultan do not consider themselves members of the Tuliyolal nation. I'd hardly call them our own people.
What does that matter? Members or not, everyone in Tural is part of our dream for peace. If you would hurt them, then you'll have to go through me.
She saved me from the mountain bird. Now, then, the same eyes. Eyes of stone. Words of stone.
We are still in her debt. This is true. Consider the debt repaid. But do not misunderstand. We do not submit to Tuliolan rule.
Aye, you've made your point. We can talk more once the contest is over.
I ask your name.
Wuklamat, protector of peace, and soon-to-be Dawn servant.
Even people with wildly different ideals can find understanding through earnest discussion. I believe that, wholeheartedly.
As do I. I won't give up until we reach a compromise.
Assuming you survive, my old bones and I will be waiting here for the true heir's return.
Your thoughts have always been a mystery to me, brother. But I'm relieved to see you put aside the contest for the sake of the greater good.
Our nation is a fortress, and its people the bricks with which it is built. The more that are lost or broken, the weaker Tuliolol becomes. Even the crudest rock has value as a stepping stone.
Come on, you two. Forget about the right of succession for now, and help me fight this overgrown snake bird. I don't care how strong the Skyruin may be. We're going to put this menace down for good.
Vorkolador now accessible. Our first trial for this expansion. And it has a duty support option. Some of these allies' roles will differ from those you're normally able to select. Alize is a healer, because we don't have another. Everything else is normal. So if I were a healer, Alize would be a DPS, and if I were a tank, Vuklamat would be a DPS probably, because she already was in the dungeon as option. Good, but I think I end the episode here and we continue this next time. Until then, amaze and don't get lost.